Take any finance book. I'm not kidding. Take any book that hasn't been written by a monkey and you will always find only one thing inside: bonds. I'm talking about bonds. In any finance book, this asset class is discussed, and it is a very important asset class. Probably one of the most important in the world we live in. And yet too often it is forgotten, or, better yet, recently no one remembers it. However, from 2023 onwards, things have changed and bonds will certainly return to have a leading role in our portfolios, and all portfolios that do not have them will be at risk. So let's understand why it is important, especially now, to know this asset class. What are the risks and, above all, what do I expect for bonds in the future? Hello everyone. Welcome back to this new video on bonds. I know, they are not the most exciting asset class in the world on paper. It's much cooler to talk about small companies that nobody knows, under $1 billion market capitalization, or alternative investments in watches, that kind of stuff. But finance isn't always fun. In fact, when it is, there is a risk that we are doing things wrong. In this case, in fact, we need to talk about it. It's too important. And before writing this video, I said, then I'll do a nice survey. Let me hear from my community. I asked you a very simple question. Do you have bonds in your portfolio? And half of you said no, not even a little, zero, nada. And that's a problem, or rather, it's also understandable. So, let's take a step back. First of all, I'm taking for granted that you know what a bond is. So, a debt security, essentially a loan that we make to companies or governments. In this case, we will clearly earn interest on this loan. Otherwise, why should we ever do it? In any case, if you're not an expert in information, maybe you've only heard of it, I'll leave you a beautiful video I made some time ago, where I went into detail to explain a whole series of things. I'll put it up here. That being said, why isn't anyone following them? We come from years, not to mention even a decade, where bonds have had very low yields, and by very low I mean, sometimes even negative. Let me give you just two examples. In Italy, the yield on a 2-year BTP, Italian government bond, is currently 0.11%, which is absurdly low. In Spain, the yield on a 10-year bond is 0.39%. These are incredibly low numbers. Now, of course, it's difficult to say what will happen in the future. It could be that interest rates will increase a lot, they will decrease a lot, they will stay more or less where they are now. In my opinion, even if rates increase in the coming months, it's hard to imagine that they will remain so high for so long. Maybe for 5 years, it seems really crazy to me. So, in my opinion, it may be a good time to start positioning oneself on bonds, at least. These are my opinions, but how can you do it concretely? The broker I currently use to buy ETFs is DeGiro, which in addition to having a lot of them, is very cheap. I'll show you, for example, this ETF that I'm currently considering adding to my portfolio, which is the best in my opinion for the type of positioning that I would like and its accumulation. So no dividends to reinvest, no taxes to manage, and it's covered by exchange rate risk. This, of course, will cost a little more, but it's great for those who want one less thing to worry about, like me, and invest in maturities between 1 and 3 years, which is exactly what I want. The ticker on DeGiro is 2B7S, and trading it with DeGiro costs €1, practically nothing, especially if we compare it to the cost of buying individual bonds, which is a mess. Registering with DeGiro is free. You can find all the links below in the description. If you want to sign up or simply want to have more information, I remind you that I am not at all suggesting that you invest in any type of product. I simply want to tell you what I am doing because I think it can be useful to you, and I am telling you how I plan to position myself in the coming weeks or months. Guys, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think. Are you also positioning yourself in bonds, or are you waiting for something else, a better moment? Tell me everything in the comments below, and above all, remember to follow me on Instagram because I regularly post updates on what I do and also surveys like the one I showed you at the beginning of the video, where you could actually contribute to the creation of these videos. So, that's it for today. See you next time.